What's up everyone, welcome back to the Coral Reef Talk. Now in today's video we're going to take a closer look at the 125 gallon reef behind me, as well as add some random flow to the tank. So let's go.
1, 2, 3, go!
Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you've been following along with this tank build series, you know that we built a custom stand for this aquarium. We stained and painted the stand, and we transferred everything from the 210 gallon reef over to the now 125 gallon reef tank. So if you haven't seen those videos, you can check them out. The links will be in the description below, or you can follow them somewhere up here. Now in today's video, I wanted to give you guys a closer look. We're going to take a look at the aquascape and how the rocks are sitting in the tank, as well as some of the corals that I have in the tank. And then we're going to jump down below to the filtration, and I'm going to show you how simple it is down there right now. Alright, so here's the tank right now. It's been set up for a little over a month. You can see what I'm kind of going for here. I'm not quite finished yet here, but I'm going for a rustic type look on the tank stand. So you can see I got some cords still to clean up, but here's what the tank is looking like right now. I believe in the last video I mentioned that when I first put the rocks in here, it really could not see because we added sand to the tank, which made it cloudy. But I had a good idea based on what rocks I was picking up, because like I said, we transferred this from the 210 gallon reef, so I knew where I wanted the rocks. I was just going in blind. But this is the rockscape right now. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Things are probably going to change up a little bit, but you can see this cave that I built out. Got the big anemone rock sitting on 3 or 4 smaller rocks underneath, which make a great little cave. Self-Intang loves to photobomb. So I'm still using the Rossmont MX 4100 movers. They are working out great. I'm getting a lot of good flow out of them. You can see from top down here. So flow is not an issue when it comes to this tank. I have it set in a wave cycle as well, so later on in the day it'll kind of create a wave motion throughout. But looking at the anemones here, they're still, if you remember the old tank, they were on the right side of the tank as well, so I kind of wanted to put them in the same spot, and they haven't moved. They love that rock, they love the water flow, so everything is looking good there. Now this Toadstool Coral, I've had him for a really long time, and you can see that something's up with him on the right side. But toadstools go through this ugly phase where they shed some stuff and they slime coat over and they grow, and so I'm not too concerned. He's just doing his toadstool thing. This side of him looks great, and the toadstool next to him, the green polyp toadstool, is looking really good. All of his polyps are out. In the old 210 gallon, they weren't as extended. He wasn't as happy. I'm gonna have to cut back some of those Kenya trees there that are touching him. But overall, he's doing really well. Now the green star polyps, they started to grow instantly when I put them in this tank. So they're loving it as well. And then the zoanthid garden here. I'm still working on the garden. This rock is where I'm gonna be putting all the zoanthids eventually. I have some here that are growing out. And then the Captain America is back there. If it'll focus on it. There's a sailfin in the way again. Say hi. But I have some zoanthids that'll be moving onto that rock, and so we're gonna reposition that. There is the Gorgonian, it's fallen over, so he's not too happy right now. I'm gonna have to pick him up. Now if we take a look at this side of the tank, you can see that this rock is just barely touching the back of the glass. I don't know how I feel about that. Probably gonna have to lift him up and create some caves, kind of like the other side. Put some rocks underneath him and lift him up a bit more. But you can see the Kenya trees are doing well, and they spread like crazy, so of course they're doing really well. Now I will say that this has been the quietest tank that I've ever owned, and that's due to the Herbie style overflow. You can kind of get a look down in there. The emergency drain on one side and full siphon on the other. But you can see the two return pipes here, the lock lines coming in. This comes with your SC Aquarium, and they're fine. They work great. The nozzles on them are good for returning water. But we're gonna add a random flow generator to either side. I just love what Vivid Creative Aquatics is doing and all the adapters that they have to give you a random flow in your tank with no moving parts. But before we get to that, let's take a look down here. I'm gonna open up the stand, and it's quite simple down here. Got the apex plugged into the back. We got the reef bot. We got some cords everywhere. So cable management is still on my list of things to do. A lot of things to do. We'll cover the reef bot in another episode. I want to give it its own episode to really go over my thoughts and what I think about it, but it's working out really well. If you want your own reef bot, you can check out www.reefkinetics.com and pick up one using the code RKLovesJJ, and you'll get $50 off. But taking a look at the protein skimmer, I'm using a Simplicity protein skimmer, and this thing is dead quiet. I'm loving it. Now the only noise that I'm really getting is from my CO2 scrubber. I don't know if you heard the difference, but when I took the air pipe out, it got really silent. So when I put that in, there's still just a little sound of air. You can hear the air mixing in there, but if you know of a way to quiet that anymore, let me know in the comment section below. So this is what it looks like right now, and the reason why the sump looks like that is because that came straight from the 210 gallon. So that's exactly the way it looked when I just moved it over to this tank, and everything's fine. I threw in some BioLux down there from eShops, and we got the refugium section here, which is lit by this work light that has the red spectrum, the spectrum of light needed for macroalgae, and that is on an opposite time schedule from the tank. So when the tank lights go out tonight, refugium comes on. And then the return pump, the Ciche Sintra is what I'm using for the return pump, and that just goes all the way back up to the tank. And I got a nice titanium heater in there, so things are looking really well for the tank. But now let's go ahead and switch out that flow and get a random flow generator on either side. Okay, real quick, this video is brought to you by Vivid Creative Aquatics, and they are the makers of the RFG, or the Random Flow Generator. Now, a Random Flow Generator is a nozzle that is 3D printed so that you can achieve random flow in your reef tank without any moving parts. Now, if you check out vividcreativeaquatics.com, you can get nozzles of all different sizes to fit various styles of tanks, as well as different adapters to help it fit to your existing tank. They also attach right up to a regular lock line fitting, and if you don't have lock line, you can get it there at VCA as well. So I'm very excited to take a look in this box. I've already cut the top off. So from Vivid Creative Aquatics, we have the Random Flow Generator right here. There's two nozzles in here, and this is gonna fit the 1/2-inch nozzles that I have on the 125 gallon. The adapters, now these adapters will help it fit to the existing lock line that came with the SC Aquarium, but we also have some regular lock line that will help us fit it to the tank as well, and the 1/2-inch fitting that screws into the return pipe of the plumbing. So let's go ahead and attach all these and get the random flow generators set up. Okay, so here is the random flow generators. Let's take these out. These are 1/2-inch, 4 1/2-inch lock line. if I can get them out of here. All right, look at that. All right, so now let's take a look at how we're gonna hook these together. This is a lock line fitting right here, so it should just pop right on here. Apply a little bit of force there, but there you go. It's on there now. And the same thing with this. Oh boy, all right, there we go. It is on there now. Let's try this side. Pops right on. Now, if I need to, I can use the adapters and they will adapt onto the lock line that's currently on there. But I'm gonna give this a try first. This seems like the easier solution because this is screw right into the current return plumbing on either side. All right, they are on there and the lock line's ready, so now we can install it. Okay, so now it's time to swap out the nozzles. Here's the VCA nozzle. We're gonna swap it out with that nozzle right there. But first, we need to get in here. First, we need to get in here and turn off our pump. So we'll just turn off the return pump there. And that way there's no water spraying on us when we go to take that nozzle off. Now with the drains on this tank, you can really hear it. You can hear that emergency drain taking some of that water down. So if something were to ever happen to this tank, power outage or the pump just shut off, I would hear that sound, I would know what's going on. Okay, so all we have to do is take off the original lock line fitting here, just lefty-loosey. Just unscrew it and take that right off. And then we'll add the VCA random flow generator and then turn the lock line into place and we're ready to go. I'm gonna turn back on the pump just to see what that side looks like, make sure everything's still okay. All right, there we go. And then once you get that working, just adjust the where you want it to aim. There we go. Now we got random water flow right there. You can see it working. Still sucking in some air so we can curve it down a little bit more. Okay, we'll do the same thing on this side. Now, all right, but now we successfully installed the random flow generators on either side. This side by the anemones and this side right here. I may have to reposition them a bit because this one is sucking in some air a little bit, gurgling a little bit, but that's an easy fix. We'll just move those a little bit below the water line. Take a look on this side. Yeah, you can see how it's getting some of that air. Before I forget, cleanup crews, check this out. I mean, they're all over the place now, but I got some dwarf seraph snails, some hermit crabs, some Nacerius snails at a great price, all from reefcleaners.org, shipped directly to my door, quick acclimation, and pop them right in. So easy. I feel like I saved a lot of money for the amount of snails that I got versus getting all those Nacerius snails at the local fish store, which I'm all for supporting the local fish store, but if I can pick up 25 plus Nacerius snails and over 100 seraph snails, I believe my cleanup crew is over 180 snails, well, and some hermit crabs in there, but all from reefcleaners.org. Check them out if you're in need for a cleanup crew, because cleanup crew is a very important part in keeping your reef tank clean. You can see I already have some cyanobacteria buildup starting to happen, but overall the tank is fairly clean, and these snails and hermit crabs are going to work. You can see some little guys back there. And the guy up here. So I got some nearite snails, some Nacerius snails, some regular seraph snails, and some dwarf seraph snails, along with 25 mixed hermit crabs that are reef safe. And everyone is doing their part to keep this tank in tip-top shape. But yeah, that's a little sidetrack. I didn't want to forget them as well, but random flow generator doing its job. Now, if you want a more in-depth view of the random flow generators, I made a video a little while ago. You can check that out. I'll leave that in the description below or up here in the card somewhere for you to check out and gather even more information on Vivid Creative Aquatics and their random flow generator. Go check them out today. You won't be disappointed. So that's the tank right now. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see as far as aquascape. If you think the aquascape is fine and I shouldn't touch it and I shouldn't move anything, let me know in the comments below. If you think I should clean up this section over here, maybe prune out some Kenya trees or move that rock and stack it up like I have on this side, let me know in the comments below as well. All right, so that is the VCA random flow generator that we used for the new tank. Thank you so much for checking out this video. As always, leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you would change, what you like, dislike about this build. Let me know all that in the comment section below. And if you're brand new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps the Coral Reef Talk out a lot. So go ahead and click subscribe, check the bell icon to be notified every single time I make new videos, and I'll see you next time on the Coral Reef Talk.